Got back from watching Superman again, so I'm going to give my spoiler review. I'll be going through the characters, what I think about them, without like having to worry about spoiling anything. I might give my stuff on the plot and everything. This might be a little bit of shorter video than my spoiler-free one because I already talked about like most of it in that. So let's just get into it. So the cameos, I want to go through all of them. Bradley Cooper as Jor-El. It was an okay casting. I'm not the biggest fan of Bradley Cooper, but as Jor-El, I don't care. He wasn't a big part of it, which I'm happy about. I'm not a big Bradley Cooper fan, but if he's in this movie as a small part, whatever. And his little plot line of actually sending Superman to Earth to like conquer them and like have many wives and like kind of try and reproduce Krypton and crap was fine. And I thought it brought an interesting arc for Cal and like what Ma and Pa Kent kind of like, especially Pa Kent, teach him. I thought that worked. I'm happy that he wasn't a big part of it, and it doesn't look like he'll be in the DCU like at all. And if so, like a little bit, Jor-El, and that's fine because I don't really care about his character. The mom was fine. She didn't really. I don't know who that is, so she didn't stand out as much. John Cena as Peacemaker and his little like TV cameo. That was pretty funny. It's cool that he showed up. World building, and so they were filming. So Peacemaker season 2 and Superman were filming in like the same building on like opposite sides. So that's probably when John Cena came over to do this little bit. That gives me hope that David Cornswet as Superman might show up in Peacemaker season 2, even if it's like a little cameo. That would be amazing. Like just showing up, that would be amazing to see. And another one. At the end, Supergirl shows up. Millie Alcox, I think it's Alcox, shows up as Supergirl, Kara's Zor-El. She's drunk, she comes to get crypto, and then she's like, "Thank you for watching." She says the B word. I liked it. I think it was cool world building again. It's cool to see Supergirl in this movie. It actually made me a little bit more excited for her movie. I didn't know what I thought, but because Sasha Calle is the only other person to play Supergirl on the big screen that I've seen in The Flash, and she was fine, but I didn't like her version. Like her version seemed too just like gloomy. Same with Henry Cavill's Superman was kind of like that too, but we got more time with him, and he's just a little bit more charismatic. Helen Slater played her in the movie from like the 80s, but I never watched that, and I'm proud of it. And then I think it's, what's her name? Melissa Benoist plays her in the Supergirl TV show, and her acting is atrocious. I've seen a couple episodes of that show, mainly for Tyler Hoechlin's Superman. Like, I watched episodes that had him. That's all I've seen. Her acting sucks. Like, I don't want to be rude, but her acting sucks. So I didn't know what to expect with this version of Supergirl, and I didn't know that she would be in this. So I was basically thinking, okay, Supergirl, my first introduction to this version is going to be in the movie. I don't know if I want to see that as much. After seeing this, like her portrayal, like even this little bit, actually like helped, like it get me excited for the movie, and I'm more excited for the movie. That's probably going to be in my top 10 anticipated movies of the year next year, which it probably wasn't going to be previously. And again, I'm going to say this. It gives me hope that Superman might show up, even if it's like a little cameo. And the reason I want him to show up is because I like the character. I like this portrayal. And it would be so much better than like I do like the DCEU. Most of those movies I enjoy, and I do like the universe, but it was all over the place, and there wasn't as much connectivity as you would want. And Superman in that world is a little bit darker than I would like this character to be. And he shows up in Man of Steel, Batman vs Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League. Then he is in Shazam as a headless cameo. He's in Flash on the TV. He's in Black Adam post-credit scene. So he is not a big figure. And I think Superman should be a more prominent character in your universe. Because he does tie everything. He was in Creature Commandos. Yes, it was a vision of the future. But it still kind of counts. Then there was the Superman book, which he's the main character, and it's a book, so I don't know if most of you count that. He was in this, obviously. It's called Superman. I would hope he was in it. Peacemaker Season 2. It gives me hope he's going to be in that. Supergirl. I have hopes that he's going to be in that. The Lantern Show. I don't think he's going to be in it. But seeing as how how Guy Gardner, holy crap. Guy Gardner was in this. I can see a possibility of Superman like being in it, even if it's like on the TV screen, or like he flies overhead or like something, or like post-credit scene or something. I don't think it's I don't think it's gonna happen, but I can see a small smidge of possibility. And if not, I mean, Guy Gardner will probably mention him. And we did get mentions of him in movies in the DCEU, but the way this world is looking, it's going to be much more cohesive and just more fun and stuff. So yeah, that all came from the Supergirl cameo. Supergirl cameo I really liked, and I think that Millie Alcock is going to be good in this role. There's most of the camp. Mr. Handsome, he was in this, that weird like white alien guy. I liked him. He was like 2 seconds basically. You saw his face once, and then he was just like a figure in the background, but he was fine. I liked him. Clark Kent was in it, like in one scene in the Daily Planet as like full Clark Kent. Was in a scene with Lois Lane as like Clark Kent Superman, and then was in a scene with his parents as like Clark Kent Superman. He was in the Superman suit most of it. I like that. And Guy Gardner explains to Lois Lane that he has hypnoglasses. Now Lois Lane knows this, but he didn't know she know, and he's an idiot who tells everyone everything. He has hypnoglasses, which basically means that it makes people see a different face when they look at you. Because then when he takes it off, they'll see someone different, as in Superman, and they'll be like, it's not Clark, I know that. I really like that. I've never heard of that before. Like, I try and read some comics of them, but I'm not, like, the comic nerd who knows everything and owns all of it or has read all of it. No. I really like that. It is so comic booky. It's awesome. The kaiju was fun. Lex Luthor was fun overall. And that scene where he has that one guy who helped Clark like get up earlier, and he has him tied to a chair playing Russian roulette, like one bullet, put it in, ask a question, and if Superman doesn't answer, you pull the trigger. And then he gets to the second time. It's the second time, and he kills him. And he's like, shouldn't have gone that fast. My jaw dropped the first time. I was like, I can't believe they went there. Like, I did not expect they would go there. It was a cool scene because it shows just how far and evil that Lex will go. And on another side of that, when the city's splitting because of the one of the entryways to the pocket universe, like Lex puts a code in or something and it starts splitting the earth. And the guy's like, I'm shutting it down, and Lex is like, no, we're not shutting it down. We will shut it down when it gets to the city I care about. And then like it's about to hit a city, and the guy's like, and the guy's like, we need to shut it down, and Lex is like, no, they chose him. Let them die. This is one of the greatest comic book villains we've ever had. He was amazing, and Nicholas Hoult was perfect for him. I know he tried getting Batman in the Batman, and I would have liked to see his version because I do think he could play a good Bruce Wayne. And then they passed on him. Wait. Then he comes into this movie, portrays for auditions for Superman. He doesn't get the part, even though I kind of like that, but at the same time, I can see a world where he would be a good Superman, but he doesn't get picked for it, which is good. Because then he gets the role of Lex Luthor. And he is perfect as him. He makes you hate him, but he has kind of, like, charisma, and it's like you hate him, but at the same time, you can't help but, like, okay, you would be fun to hang around. And I know I shouldn't be saying that, but it's Nicholas Holt's performance. And, like, the line deliveries are great. Like, when he breaks into the fortress, and he's like, Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. I don't know exactly what he said, but I think he's like an alien with a cocky grin and a stupid outfit or something. That was awesome. And then he's like, when Ultraman. Oh yeah, Ultraman. I'll get back to Lex in a minute. Ultraman turns out to be the Hammer and Ravia, which we all saw coming. But then another thing we all saw coming, he's just a clone of Superman, David Cornsweet with long hair. I mean, we saw that coming. I didn't expect much more. I'm betting he's gonna be turned into like Bizarro or something in the future. That was fine. I would have liked Henry Cavill. I did like the Ultraman suit, and he was kind of just like the faceless goon for most of it, and that was fun. But when he gets unmasked, and then Lex Luthor kind of explains who he is, and then he's like, and then he's fighting Superman, and he's like, brain beats brawn, and like that was cool, like his acting. And then when Ultraman gets Superman pinned, and he's like fighting him, I love the scene when like Luthor's like 1A, 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 1A. And it's like everyone in his like little thing is cheering. I don't know why, but they're cheering. And then like his acting when he's like 1A, 1A, 1A. I like that. I just like the way he acts like it. And then he gets beaten, and he's like, and then Superman gives his really good speech where he's like, that's where you're wrong. I wake up every morning not knowing what I'm going to do, but going out there trying to help. I get sad, I get lonely, I feel joy, I feel loss. And he's like, he didn't say all that. This is the basic gist, and he's like, but that's what makes me human, and that is my greatest strength. I love that. And then Lex Luthor's just like, no. And then Krypto like ragdolls him, which was kind of funny. And then he gets up, and he's just like he hates Superman, and he hates that people pick Superman over him and stuff. And then like his speech where he's like, where Superman was like, you're jealous, and Luthor is like, I am jealous, and I used that as motivation. Galileo, Leonardo, they're better than me. And every time someone mentions me and them in the same sentence, I vomit a little bit in my mouth. But at least Galileo did something instead of just getting people to like him by being greater than everyone. And it's like, I can see people who like nitpick everything and like cinema nerds who need every conversation in a movie to be like perfect in real life or else it will be crappy. And that was a very comic booky speech. I love it. I love it. Um the action in this movie is good. The score. Oh my the score. There are two songs played in this movie, like two like songs with singing. That is in the Mr. Terrific fight, which very James Gunn, one shot. It was really cool. And then at the end, after Supergirl leaves, the robots put on pictures like little videos of Pa and Ma Kent, and he's like Superman likes having his parents on because that helps soothe them. In the beginning, it was his Kryptonian parents, and now it's his actual parents, his Earth parents. Not his birthing parents, his parents that raised him, and his actual parents. I like that. And the song, like, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. I like that song. And it calls back in earlier when he's talking about Lois was like, you're not punk rock. And she's like, you're too kind to everyone, you trust everyone, all that. And he's like, maybe that is the real punk rock. It calls back to that, and I love that. And, what's his name? I'm going to the cast real quick. I just thought of another cameo that I need to bring up. Sorry, where is he? Dang it. I'm sorry, I'm trying to hurry up. I can't remember. Sean Gunn. Oh, he'd probably be uncredited. Sean Gunn plays Maxwell Lord in like a 3-second cameo at the end when Lex Luthor's like pushed out and like everyone's shown that he's a bad guy, and Maxwell Lord shows up on a TV screen for like a little bit, and he's like, well, finally conservatives and Democrats can agree on one thing, that Lex Luthor sucks. It works within the movie. I think it does make sense, and it was kind of funny. But at the same time, I mean, it is kind of like, I'm happy the scene didn't go on longer, because if they did go on longer, it definitely would have got worse. But for this little, that little sentence, it was a joke. It was a funny joke. It worked within the movie. I don't really have a problem with it, but I'm happy they didn't try anything else. And obviously, he's going to be showing up back in Peacemaker Season 2 with Green Lantern and Hawkgirl. That would probably be a little bit fun. Hawkgirl in this, I'm not sold on her. I think that her not being in it as much makes it better, because I just like her when she comes into battle, like she's screeching, and it's like that's kind of annoying at times. So I'm happy that she wasn't as big of a part of it. Isabel Merced, I've liked some movie season, like I like her acting in Transformers Last Night. I think in this she was a little bit I don't like her as a person, but besides that, her acting was a little bit off. But I mean, the character was fine for what it was supposed to be. Green Lantern was the standout, and I'm gonna be happy to see him in some more projects. He's gonna be in Peacemaker, which is gonna be cool. He's gonna be in Lanterns, which I'm excited for that show. But not as excited as I should be, because Green Lantern, Hal Jordan, is my second favorite DC character. And Kyle Chandler, I don't like as a casting for him. He's too old, which means Hal Jordan is probably going to be either killed off or just not as shown as much in this universe, which is universally stupid. He had a good movie in 2011. Now, a lot of people didn't like it. I did. But besides that one movie, he's been the clown. In the DC AMU, he's kind of like the clown character. And then in the Tomorrowverse, he was turned into an evil guy, which was so stupid. And again, they're gonna be taking him out and putting in Jon Stewart as like the main Green Lantern. And I just find that stupid, because Jon Stewart is kind of a boring character. Now, I'm holding out hope that this version can be good, but after seeing Green Lantern Beware My Power, that movie sucked. and Jon Stewart did not help at all. Not one bit. Metamorpho, I liked him. I think him and Baby Joey were pretty cool. And then, like, him kind of joining the Justice King at the end because he likes the name. That was funny. That was a really good joke when Metamorpho helps them in the fight, and then Hawkgirl's like, hey, you're good. Hey, Guy, he should be on the team. And Guy's like, I'm sorry, no offense, but we can't have that face, like, being, like, the main, like, what we show for the Justice Gang. And then Metamorpho's like, the Justice Gang? It's a cool name. And then Guy, like, gives him this look. You're in. That was funny. And then the fight scene where Guy's, like, using his powers and it's, like, flipping everyone off as he hits up the tanks. That was awesome. That was funny. That was really funny. This movie does really good jokes when it does. It doesn't have as many as his other movies, which I think is good because Superman shouldn't have as many jokes as like Guardians of the Galaxy, the S Squad. I don't know if I can say it. Peacemaker. So I'm happy that he held out a little bit, but like we still get really good jokes. And the score, I want to loop back to that because the John Williams theme is played, like the da na 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 na. That theme is played multiple times throughout the movie, but in like the rock version, like the da na 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 na, like electric guitar. I grew up with that theme, like those movies and that theme. It's recognizable. I'm not a big fan of those movies. I think that this version of the theme with like the electric guitar, I really like that version, and the way they use it in the movie, like they use it and it's like emotional and it's really cool. I just really like that. And so at the beginning when like Superman heals and then he leaves, and like it's like showing his face flying and he's smiling, and then it pans down to his S. And then the S like jumps out and it's like Superman, like the title card. I liked how they did that. That was really cool. And then the post-credit scenes. One of the post-credit scenes is Krypto and Superman on the moon, and Krypto gives Superman a hug. It was like 5 seconds, and it's not like a big deal, but it was fun. Then the second one is Superman and Mr. Terrific looking at a building. The building's still cracked, and it's like kind of like up a little bit, like up and still cracked looking, and Superman's like, I don't know, it looks a little off. And then Mr. Terrific's like, well, what do you want me to do, break it apart and fix it again? And Superman's like, no. And then Mr. Terrific like walks away and like kicks a rock. And Superman's like, oh man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. And then he's like, darn it, I can be such a jerk sometimes. I love that. Like, I love a Superman like this, like that acts like that says stuff like that, like what the hey man, oh darn it, stuff like that. And like the way David pronounces it, I like that too. David is by far the best Superman. I love him as Superman. He was great. Rachel Brosnahan was awesome as Lois Lane too. And I think one of my favorite scenes between them is after the final battle when they're gonna interview each other and they go into the building and then they start kissing and they float up. I really like that shot, and I thought from the trailers that would be the final shot of the movie. And I was like, if that's the final shot of the movie, I would like that. I would love that. And then we get a little bit more, which is good. I like the movie, so I like it to continue. And then the final shot of the movie is like when he's looking at his photos and I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. That song is playing. It shows Superman like just looking at it and smiling, and then like the sun like blurs out his face, and then it's Superman, written by James Gunn, written and directed. I love that shot of them floating up, him smiling, and the sun being the thing that blurs out the movie. Is the perfect way to end the movie, especially after the dark, gritty version we got with Henry Cavill. That was perfect. And this movie is perfect. And I think it got even more perfect after the second time. Which not a lot of movies I can say do that. I mean, a good chunk of them, I guess, because I do like movies, but I didn't expect it to get better, like as better than it was, because I already thought it was basically perfect. And then it just is like, oh, you think I'm perfect? Here you go. Watch it a second time. It was amazing. Like, that movie is amazing. I love everything about it. I pre-ordered the Steelbook, which was $40, so I mean that was a lot of money. But it was well spent and worth it. Now all I have to do is watch it a couple more times in theaters. And then wait out the Steelbook. Now, in between that time, Peacemaker Season 2 will be out. So we might get a little bit more of David as Superman, which I'm hoping. I am hoping that we get some more of him in Peacemaker. That would be really awesome. And, yeah. This movie is just already so special. And it takes all the other Superman movies, and it's like, there's one that I think is 5 stars, then there's 4.5, then there's a 3.5, 4, and then there's like 2s and maybe 1 or 2 2.5s. It takes all those movies and blows them out of the water. It takes a movie that I thought was perfect. I'll get into it when I do my ranking, which will probably be out tomorrow, which is Sunday. It takes a movie that I thought was perfect, or like on the cusp of being perfect, so I gave it 5 stars, which means I really enjoyed it and I thought it was almost perfect, and it blows it out of the water. It is so comic booky, which I love. I think more comic book movies need to be like this, where it's not afraid to be comic booky. I think we're getting that with Fantastic Four, which I'm not as excited for that movie, but I think it's gonna be cool that it's like comic booky. Even Daredevil, which is known for being gritty, it still is, but it's taking more of this comic book stuff. And like, I just love all that stuff. I love it. And I think a universe like this with Creature Commandos and Superman, and it already being this comic booky and like it ties in together and stuff. Like Rick Flag was in this. Kind of like connect back to Creature Commandos. I think that's cool. He didn't mention anything about Creature Commandos, and in my eyes, I don't think you really need to, just as long as you have a character from it to connect. That was cool. And then, like, obviously Peacemaker was in this, and he's going to be in Peacemaker. Rick Flag's going to be in that, too. Yeah. It was awesome. And, I can't wait for what's next. Next month, Peacemaker Season 2. Let's hope Superman shows up. I'm hoping he does. And then I think there's crypto shorts at the end of the year. Like, I think there's going to be, like, 5 or so. It would be cool if Superman shows up in that a little bit. And maybe those are, like, released with on, like, the movie, like, Blu-ray and stuff, like, released with the movie, like, as special features or something. I don't know, but that would be kind of cool. Especially if, Superman shows up. I'm like, Superman needs to show up. But, that's about what I had to say about the movie. The plot was good, too. I like the plot. Now, I want to talk a little bit for like a minute or two about what the DCU needs to do. Or what I want it to do. We're getting Clayface next year. So we're getting Supergirl, which hopefully will have Superman. And we're getting Clayface next year. I want Batman. Batman needs to be in that movie. That would be awesome. And I know people aren't exactly excited for Batman versus a Batman and Superman movie, like World's Finest, being James Gunn's like next like Superman project or something. I would like that. Wait, hear me out for a minute, okay? So Superman's already showed up in this. He was in Creature Commandos. He's probably, like, I'm leaning 95% in Supergirl. Like, he's probably going to show up in that. He might show up in Peacemaker, which would be cool. Clayface, I'm leaning, like, maybe 60%, maybe 55%, but on the positive side of Batman being in there. And there might be 1 or 2 other projects in between that, like, Batman might show up, Superman might show up. So it's not like it's going to be the second thing out. I mean, we're getting Supergirl and Clayface, which is already 2 more movies than Man of Steel between Batman vs Superman had. But World's Finest probably won't be out until, let's say, end of 2028 at the earliest. I would say at the latest, with the way he's talking, probably like early to mid 2029. So that, and with what they want, 2 movies a year, that means that 3 to 4 movies at least would be out in between that then. So, Batman and Superman World's Finest being like maybe the first big movie with Batman where he's like co-lead. I think that would work. And if that leads into Brave and the Bold and then Superman 2, that would be good. I would really love that. And I think, I know people don't want rush and everything, and I'm not saying rush it, but you do gotta look at this as it's not animated where like the people's voice do sound the same mostly as they grow older, and where you can tweak it to sound the same. And then it's not TV show where there's a season every year, and it's not comic book where the characters can basically be just ageless as long as you want them to. These actors grow older, and as they grow older, you can see that take form. So, I'm not saying rush it, but I am saying that we should probably have them do like as much stuff with these versions of the characters as they can. I think David Cornswet is 36 now. So I think that Superman and Batman, which probably will be just as old, if not a little bit older than David, they should probably be put in a good chunk of projects. And they should have a good chunk of like their own solo projects. Same with all these other characters. I've heard that James Gunn wants 2 live action movies, 1 or 2 animated shows, and then multiple live action shows a year. Multiple live action shows, so he doesn't specify. So I'm guessing 3, 4 a year. That I like that. Animated 1 or 2. I can squeeze by with 1 or 2. I think 3 is a nice number. And then live action movies. He says 2. I'm okay with that. I mean, I would like more than 0. So 2 is more than 0, which I like more than none. But I think that 3 movies a year would probably be like not perfect, but like really good. And like just greediness in me, I would like 4. But I think if I take all that away and I focus purely on what would probably be the best, 3 would probably be like the best number. Because you get 1 at the beginning of the year, like first 3 months, 1 in the middle of the year, like June, July, August-ish. And then at the end of the year, like October, November, December, you get another 1. I think that would probably be a really good way of doing it. And like, you could have like a original movie with a character that we haven't had as a main character, a sequel. And then the third one could be a sequel, an original, or when it gets to the point, a team up. Like, I think that would probably be like the great way to do it. And then like maybe a month before, a month after, or the month of each movie, like a live action like show maybe. Or like if they're doing, if they want, well yeah, and then like an animated show like in a month, like 1 month to like bridge the gap kind of. And then they're doing like crypto shorts this year. Maybe even like a little like show like shorts like that. Maybe every year like you could do crypto or like a different animal or a human, like just little shorts. at like the end of the year. I think that would be really good. And a lot of people don't think that the MCU releasing a lot each year is good, and that's why they don't want the DCU doing that. But I think that the MCU doing that, if they made like good stuff, and I think for the most part they have one movie I don't like, and with the live action shows, two I really don't like, and one that I didn't like, but I'm gonna give another shot sometime. So it's not like they're missing out. Like, sure, there have been movies that aren't the greatest, like Thor: Love and Thunder, the Marvels aren't the greatest, but I still have fun with those. I can still like those. I like them. And James Gunn, the way he's approaching it is, he wants to make sure the scripts are great before he starts with them. So, if he's making sure the scripts are great, and he can have people do this, I think that isn't that hard to see. Especially since he's writing some of them. Like, he's writing Creature Commandos, he writes Peacemaker and directs him. Superman, I think he's going to stick with Superman. And he's working closely with the Batman writers. Not the Batman with Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves, but like Batman Brave and Bold, like the DCU Batman. It's not hard to think, you know? I hope you guys know what I'm saying. But I mean, that's not hard to see happening. And I just would like it. Because I want to see a good DC universe. Like, we got the DCEU, which I like, but I think the movies individually are much better as a whole, and it's not as watchable as something like the MCU, where it's like they are connected, and like for the most part they're all just really good, well-made movies. Whereas the DCEU, I think watching the movies here and there instead of in order is much more fun. And then there's the DC AMU, which is like the animated universe. I liked it. And I think that's kind of what I'm hoping they aim for with this DCU. But even then, like, some of the characters weren't done as well, and like there wasn't as many movies. So we have yet, basically, to see like a really good, cohesive, at least 10-year running like universe. The MCU has done that. I think with James Gunn at the helm of this DC universe, minus anything I think about what he's said or him as a person, I think he can do it and do it well. And will there be some projects that I might not watch? Probably. But from all the projects coming up, like this year, next year, what I've heard, I can see myself watching a lot of them, and I can see myself enjoying a good chunk of them. Because they just look like good movies. And this movie, Superman, starting out the DC universe, gives me what any Superman movie should give you. Hope. It gave me hope in like just hope. It gave me hope in this universe, hope in these characters, hope in James Gunn, hope in David Cornswright, hope in Superman. I think I needed that. So I think that this movie was perfect. Now, are there some nitpicks I could like run down to like try and drag the movie lower? Yes. Most movies have those. Even like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, which are my favorite movies of all time. I have little nitpicks here and there that I could be like, if I really wanted to, I could be like, oh, I don't like that. They're not my favorite movies. But I don't, because I love the movies as a whole. And I think that this little teeny tiny thing like in the background, or this little scene or something like that, does not take away from the whole movie. So with this movie, yes, there are little nitpicks, as in background character, or this thing happening in the background, or this sentence that didn't make sense, or that effect, or oh, that music choice. I don't know. All these little things that I could nitpick if I really wanted to. Because I can nitpick. If you ask me to nitpick, I'll do it. And I can do it well. I'll nitpick the crap out of anything. But I think what this movie should have done was, with all these nitpicks, just start this universe off well. It did that. And I've seen a lot of people, like, that's kind of the consensus for a lot of, this is a consensus for a lot of people. It's good, could have been better. It was a great start to this universe. I'm hyped to see what's next, but this movie could have been better. I agree with most of that, but I really love this movie, and I think it's perfect. If you don't, and you have solid reasons, I can get behind that. If you don't, and you're a Snyder fan, and you're just like, oh, Man of Steel is so much better. Oh, this version sucks. He sucks. Shut up. You can like a version of character that's not like comic accuracy, but when a lot of people want comic accuracy, shut up. You like this version, yes. He tried it. It worked for some time. I like those movies. I like Man of Steel a lot. I like Batman vs. Superman a lot. I like Zack Snyder's Justice League a lot. I like a lot of the DCEU movies. I did not like the cohesiveness. I did not exactly particularly think that it was the greatest version of Superman you could have gotten. So, you can like those movies, okay? Snyder fans, you like those movies, okay? But go in your corner and shut it. I can be kind of loud about opinions too. But I'm not going to say something like, go buy tickets so they can't go see it. Or anything like that. And if you want to go watch it, I'm not going to be like, no, don't watch it. I'm going to be like, okay, you can go watch it. I might not like it. There might be stuff in there that I don't agree with that you do. But go watch it. Go watch it. And I think the Snyder fans have gone a lot more crazy than they probably should have. That is my spoiler talk of Superman 2025. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. If you stayed this whole way, I know it's a long video, but I kind of got carried away way longer than I thought I would. But thank you for watching, and next couple of days, stay tuned. And in a couple of weeks, we get Happy Gilmore 2, Fantastic Four, and then next month we got the next DCU movie, TV show. And then we got the future, all the movies and TV shows this year. The next year, DCU, MCU movies, shows. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. If you would like to, subscribe, and please like the video. Comment what you thought. And just thank you for watching. See you next time.